Hi, my guest didn't just create music, he birthed a movement. Reggie Rockstone. How you doing, brother?
Thank you, brother.
Let's go all the way back. I mean, when you think of home, what does home represent for you, Reggie Rockstone?
Home, say if you.
Yes, from the way back when you were young. Where was home?
Miami fee.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
home. Home was a modern day Disney World for me.
Really?
Yes. My household was, I miss my household so much. My upbringing, I had the best. Beautiful, beautiful son. Beautiful calf. And I often reminisce about my upbringing. My household was so dope, other kids came to my house.
To chill.
Almost like a sanctuary.
Okay.
My parents were funky. Freedom of me fee. Maybe.
Where was this? Where was house? Home.
Home.
Yes.
Well,
the earliest recollection of home was where?
That I be flex. We've been always cantonments.
Okay.
Laboni cantonments the most. Yemfana say cantonments, Laboni, but mostly cantonments.
Okay.
East. And so the neighborhood, I grew up with the Phillips, both Phillips, Dr. Phillips and IB Phillips, both next street. Mrs. Alasan next street.
The famous Alasan DDC.
Mrs. Alasan, Mr. Francois George.
Oh, musician.
He used 2 doors from me.
Okay.
The mistress of Achimota Secondary, Mrs. Brew Graves. That's my auntie, for those who don't know. So we grew up in a beautiful, serene, residential neighborhood. Yes.
And when you say we, you and your siblings?
No, I'm the only child for many years.
Only child
for
many years?
Me bakra you say.
Wow. Okay.
Yes, I was the only child for many years. So, yes.
Who was mommy?
I got 3 mothers. My original, the OG biological is Anna. And she is who everybody knows as Auntie Anna. And then followed by Mom Millie Spears. And everybody knows her as Mom Millie. And a lot of people don't know this, but Mom Sophia Akufu.
The former Chief Justice?
Yes, the former Chief Justice. So all 3 of them took turns of raising this man.
We're recording this 3 days away from Mother's Day.
Yes.
How did you get to have 3 mamas, man?
Because I was blessed. I was blessed to have 3 mothers. And all of them did extremely well in raising me. My discipline, my morals, all of the above. And I mean, look at these 3 beautiful mothers, you know, and all of them are still alive, and they're all still in my life. So every Mother's Day is it goes out to
triple delight.
Triple delights, yes. Yeah.
You said earlier that growing up was dope. Explain further. What did you guys get up to? What did you have?
We lived the extreme that be life. I mean, I was one of the first in my neighborhood to have a video game.
Can you remember which one it was?
It was one of them ones that ping.
It's
just a dot.
Yeah, that was the beginning.
Early video games, and I had one. I had the punching bag in the back. We had roller skates, skateboards. We had K. Phillips he even had a moped.
Okay.
We lived the fly life. We played baseball, damn it.
Baseball.
Every Friday, we go into the Marine House. And because, you know, one of my mothers is African American, we had direct access. And so we're eating hamburgers and jelly, and we live in the Yankee, life. And this is how I went to Soul Clinic, just around the corner. The owner, Reverend Macaulay, may he rest, a great man, who was also American Caribbean. And so we read the Enid Blyton books. we traded comics, Marvel and propaganda.
Tintin and all that stuff, man.
Asterix.
Yes, Asterix, Obelix.
I came up beautiful. And this is the same kid who they brought from the West straight to Kumasi. Well, we call it magazine.
I know Swami magazine.
Swami.
Yes.
Yes.
So you were born?
I was born out in the West.
The UK?
Yes, the UK.
Okay. Why were you born there?
That's where my pops met my mom.
Okay.
You know, that's where my father would, of course, move to the Yankee side. That he started his fashion pseudo UK, but then he blew up in America.
Same to say.
Yes, same.
Do you have any memories from the UK?
Yes, I got.
What's your
plenty.
earliest UK memory?
Well, just a young African kid. You know, my father being the playboy that he was, me running around dressed in the Flyers clothes. My father would, you know, if he wore this, he'd have a mini version of this for me.
One time.
And really fly guy. And yeah, you know, but I got 2 UK memories because I would also be back there as a team. So the music scene, I was on there. My music career, a lot of people think started in New York. No, it actually began in the UK.
So you were born in the UK. When did you come to Ghana, and then when did you return? How old were you when you came back to Ghana?
I came when they first brought me. I was young. Then I did Achimota Secondary, of course, in between. And then I came back finally. I'll be losing track of time, but I know.
In your teens?
Yes, and I spent a good, you know, time in both.
Okay.
But one of my hustles was I would sell clothes. I used to go to New York, get clothes, come sell them in the UK. A lot of hip hop gear.
Okay.
So my whole story has always been tri-continental. It's UK, Africa,
and then
US. But I would finally come home in 93, 94. And that would begin the whole revolution of hip life.
Indeed.
So, yeah, I've always had
the movement.
The tri-continental, which would be UK, America, and Africa. But of course, Africa being number one.
Which incidentally is the same triangle of the transatlantic slave
Yes,
trade.
of course.
Yeah.
I was waiting
Symbolic,
for you to,
right? Yeah.
I was waiting to see if you catch that. Yeah.
What was Mottown like, Achimota School?
It was so dope. It was dope. Some of my best times was in that school. I actually blew up. My first show business recognition was via Nino's Night.
That's why the entertainment night for the freshers.
Freshers,
Okay.
yep. It's an initiation.
What was your act?
This is where I did the moonwalk. This is why people get confused when I say that I did the moonwalk before Michael Jackson did.
Before Jeffrey Daniels?
Because I learned it off Jeffrey.
Jeffrey Daniels.
And Jeffrey taught Michael.
Just take us back to the day you did the moonwalk. What was the reaction like in the assembly hall?
For all Akwaras who remember Samokaya, it was mind-blowing. It blew my mind, blew everybody's mind. The whole place erupted. And then they had me do it again.
Just to see whether it was real or what?
Yeah, it was crazy. And I can imagine, if you had never seen that move before, what it looked like.
It's like you're floating.
It blew everybody away. But I learned mine from, you know, we had all the Soul Train tapes. You know, like I said, I lived a Kumasiano life and an American life. So because of moms, so you see every Soul Train.
One time.
We had the VHS, you know.
The big.
Yeah. Shout out to Saucepan, Aaron Anochi and them. And, you know, dance was already in my life. And so I knew when I seen Shalamar, when I seen Jeffrey do this, and I would also learn from the famous artist Victor Butler and a few others, because he had learned how to do the moonwalk too, and it's just an amazing story that people never, you know, it seems really far-fetched when I tell it. It was after Mottown, ironically, I did mine. Then Michael did it at the Mottown anniversary.
Indeed.
That's our Tanya who I Yeah.
Do you think, what impact did you think Achimota made on your life?
A big one, because that would be where the seed was actually, well, the seed had already been sown, but if this was where I would see my first real audience. And I would also learn about show business. I would learn about fame and how people react to fame. I learned about hate, love.
People hated you just for your moonwalk?
Yeah, no, just for being really popular. You know, people would people pick on you.
The seniors give you a hard time?
Yeah, seniors, juniors, those envy. You know, it's just the same thing that happens in real life.
Yeah.
You know,
what was your stage name then?
I was still Reggie.
You were still
Reginaldo
Reggie.
Say.
Reginaldo
Yes.
Say. Yao as well, right?
Well, the Yao came, you know, it kind of really blew up from Hiplife. But I've always been Yao.
So Reginald Asante.
Yeah, but my nickname was Papa Jerry. If you hear anybody call me Papa Jerry, that means they were close to me.
Where did that one come from?
McCarthy House. Yeah.
Okay.
But originally from Saucepan, Aaron Anochi.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you always had this creative vibe about you, full of energy? Did your parents encourage it?
Yes.
Who do you think you took it more from?
Both. All of them.
What did Mama do?
Even my mother's.
What did Mama first do? What was her job?
My mother was very funky. Auntie Anna, my mother, my biological, my mom's she's still very funky. My mother went to go watch the Bob Marley concert with my dad. You know, my mother had all the records, just like my father did. Both of them. Now remember, my father's a fashion designer.
Yes.
So he's already artistically inclined.
Yes.
So yes, and then my other mother, Millie, she's a fashion designer. She's actually on the cover of Parliament. Yeah.
Really?
Up for the downstroke, the
group.
actual cover.
Yeah, Parliament.
My mother's on the cover.
I'll go look for it.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm gonna send it to you. And then of course, Mom Sophia.
XCJ.
Yes, she's very, very open-minded. Of course, now they're all very creepy, you know, but they're all very
creative.
You know, they're funky. They're not just, you know, they're not some boring.
So you know, in some families, if you start dancing and doing music, they say, "Hey, no, you never had that."
No, they supported me from day one, all the way to Hiplife, all the way. My father built me that studio. My father is the one that came up with coined the name Hiplife. He's the one that said, "Don't call it hip hop. You need to own it." Ricky Nakane.
Wow.
Yeah, so my father's always been artistically inclined. He was the executive producer for Hiplife. So I was blessed. I was blessed from day one.
What was the relationship you had with your dad?
My best friend. Me and my father were very, very, very close. Extremely close. So close, so much that there's not a single day that his name don't come up. And just as we are right now, his name must come up.
Yes.
That's how close we were.
How much
when he passed away, I mention my father's name every day. Unconscious. He's always around me. Yeah.
What do you think he will make of you today?
My father lived to see me be a martial arts champion, lived to see me be a dance champion. He lived to see me blow up with the Hiplife, but he never saw Hiplife become as big as it became. But he always said, "Yeah, idea we best is Africa."
He said that.
Yeah, and it morphed into all types, even the new reemergence of Afrobeat, like everything that he spoke on became. But yes, he lived to see me become. Yeah. He always knew, look, there's a story that my dad always tells. He says that when I was born, I had an audience. Because hospital na a woman. Na me papa wa girl bi o. Inti na nurses pee omo no me papa. Oba had my night shift. The time a woman, my father's in a hurry because he was late.
Yes.
He said he was running to see his first son. And when he got there, a lot of the nurses, because they already knew him, or send me drew, and there was a crowd around your cut. He said you already had an audience.
That was your audience, man.
Born. Yeah.
And then you gave your scream.
Yep. So he said he always said he knew that I was different, special. He knew that I was artistic. I started dancing and reacting to music very early.
What's one thing he used to say that still stays with you?
Drink water. He always used to say that. Reggie, drink plenty water. You know, it stuck with me. Pastor Monsieur, right?
Let's drink water,
Yeah.
man.
He
Why do you
always-
think? Why did he say
I
that?
don't know. He just had this thing about drinking. You know, he spoke about health and that we are made, a percentage of us made of water.
Yeah.
And that he always said, drink water. Yeah.
I'll never forget that.
Y'all know.
Drink water.
Yeah, y'all know Monsieur.
The great Saint
Saint
Jose.
Jose, yes.
What happened to his
Good
label
man.
after he passed?
His label is very
Fashion
deep.
label.
Nobody could see. Nobody seems to be able to fit in the shoes. Dude was so particular about everything that he did. I mean, I know fashion, but my mother, Mom Millie, she delves with it a little bit. But the kids, my siblings, I don't know. They might pick it up. If anybody, if they are authentic enough and they approach me and they seem passionate about carrying on, I will definitely pass it on. Yes, I do know his mindset. I can advise on it, but he moved in a certain way that I can't, not just by virtue of being a son, you know, I should be able to follow up on his fashion sense. So, but I do have an idea. But the label is there. It can always spark up.
Saint Jose.
Actually,
With two
there's
S's,
been
right?
talk. Yes, two
Two
S's. That's
yes.
another
Yeah.
thing. That he's the only one. You know,
Yes.
but
Yeah.
now I see it's in the system. Now I see people
Yeah.
with us say
He
with
was
two
the only
S's.
one back then.
But he's the only one that named it.
With two S's.
He made that, and now it's become it's in the system. Yep. So if you have an Osei with two S's, it comes from my father, direct. Yep.
Indeed. And I'm just, the more I look at you, the more you look like your father to me.
When my father passed, it almost immediately I morphed into the man. Till this day, I meet people who, when they see me, they just start to cry, or they start to, reminisce about how much I look like him. I don't know if it's psychological.
Do you dream about him?
I had a couple of dreams when the early times when he passed, and in all of the dreams, I am still a child.
Okay.
Yeah, it's deep.
It is.
And one time I had a dream, and he was he was side stage. I'm on stage, and he was stood side stage, just looking at me and clapping. Yeah,
Seal of approval.
very emotional. When I think about it.
Yeah. It's on the side of the stage and he's clapping.
I don't know the significance, but every time that I've seen him in a dream, I'm always a child.
Did you ever go to your shows?
Ricky came to maybe 1 or 2 performances, Hiplife, but my dance shows, I think he might have seen maybe 3 or 4 of my dance shows. My mother was a stage mom, so she was, I got videos and you see my mother in the crowd. Yeah.
You know, a lot of Africans will be wondering why you're calling your father Ricky.
Oh,
and not
yeah.
Da or Papa or Daddy.
I stopped calling him Daddy when I grew up. Me and him was just really
Like brothers.
and it did take nothing away from the amount of respect that I had for the man. But everybody called him Ricky.
Yeah, that's what you heard all around.
Yeah.
You rarely talk about your siblings. How many do you have?
I do. One of my siblings, you might know, he was the one on Big Brother Africa, Keita.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's my brother.
Okay.
Keita, yeah. I got Sasha, Nikita. I got beautiful sisters. I have Roseanne. Roseanne is about my age. I have Nikita, Sasha, and Zuma, named after, my father's strong Kumais. Yeah. But all of them are 6, like they're really tall.
Really?
Yeah. I'm the only short one amongst
Are you the leader? Are you
Yeah, I'm the
oldest?
oldest, yes.
Okay.
And I'm the first.
Is it easy to be a big brother to all of them?
Well, it's kind of, with the boys, it's cool. The boys were really close. The girls, we are close, but not that close. We had a few family issues I don't want to talk about, but slowly we are coming back together.
Good to know.
But the boys all very close.
You all hang?
Yeah, we're my people. Me and
so.
Keita hang out all the time.
Me too.
Yeah.
Before we talk about your music, was there a time in when you thought, well, this is who I am, man. This is what I'm meant to do. I'm meant to do. Did it any time in your life did that come up?
No, everything has been a freestyle in my life.
Really?
It's just been a freestyle. The only thing that I really originally aspired to be as an actor.
You wanted to be an actor?
Yeah, I went to drama school.
You
Yeah,
did?
yeah, I went to drama school. Yeah,
Okay.
I went. So that was like, you know, I want to be this, but then it just morphed into this crazy.
Who was your favorite actor back then? Who did you look up to as in the acting world?
Well, because I come from the martial arts, Bruce has always been my guy.
Bruce Lee.
Bruce is a great actor. People always forget about, you know, when you put the martial arts to the side, he was a great actor, very intense, and a great philosopher.
Yes.
Yeah, Bruce is number one. Yeah.
That was your guy. You talked about martial arts. How early did that begin for you?
I started about 8. You met one of the brothers that trained me.
Yes.
Yes. Shout out to Mullah. Shout out to Melvin Brown. Shout out to Duke Banson.
Was it your dad's decision to take you into martial arts, or you asked
No,
for it?
he figured because I was so into Bruce. I mean, it actually began with Muhammad Ali. That's, you know, and this is deep because it would also cross over because Muhammad Ali would also influence my attraction to the poetry and rap because Cassius Clay, he rapped.
Yeah.
And of course, James Brown. So the music side from James, he rapped, came to Cassius Clay, who of course became Muhammad Ali. And that was one of my mentors. And then to Bruce. So you had music, warriors, all morphed into and make the makeup is Reggie.
So 8 years old, you start doing what, taekwondo?
I actually started, a lot of people don't know that I started with Shotokan first.
Okay, what's the difference, man? What's the difference?
Well, karate, you know, and then taekwondo is more, you know, your leg. People would always say taekwondo is just sports.
What do you mean by all of them are
they
sports?
They used to clown, well, it got sportified.
Yeah.
But people would always say, man, taekwondo soft, but it's not, you know, that's from the Korean side of things.
Yes.
But, you know, still an offshoot of jiu-jitsu.
What's an interesting experience you had with martial arts?
I got plenty of those. I've never really been in I have been in like maybe 3 fights in my whole life, like in a real fight where I had to. Somebody asked me, "Have you ever used the art?" And I was telling this on social media. It was one time in New York. It was a phone booth. I'm from the old school, and this Jamaican brethren was in the phone booth
making a call.
And I had to make a call, and you know, I kept knocking on and he came out and he got fresh, but before I could read, he attacked me, and it would be the first time that martial arts would be put to use.
Good use, sir.
Yes, and it was really swift and really fast. Now here's the big question: did I run
after the fight?
Because he was laid out.
Yes.
But then he began to get back up, and did I stay or run? And I run.
You have to fight another day, man.
Yes, I run away because I did not know if this man had a weapon.
Exactly.
And Bruce had also, in his philosophies, let you know that if you can get away, get away.
Please.
So we don't do this for egos. We do this with some sense. Yeah.
So dance came first, yeah?
Yes.
Then martial arts?
No, actually, no.
What was the order?
Simultaneous, but
Together.
I would say a bit of dance because I was watching James Brown.
Okay.
And then at the same time, Bruce Lee came along, Cassius Clay.
Yeah.
So a little bit simultaneous.
All right. So after Mottown, where do you go?
I went back to the West. I went back, and like I said, I started my hustle running between New York and the UK.
The fashion business.
Yeah. You know, buying clothes. And then I bumped into a prolific producer, greetings, by the name of DJ Pogo.
DJ Pogo.
Yes, and DJ Pogo comes from the Money Love fraternity. And he's the one that put me on. And and then we started a group called PLZ with myself and my childhood brother friend, Freddie Funkstone, who happened to be the son of the BBC legend, Hilton Fowle.
Yes.
So that was me and him, and DJ Pogo, another brother, Junior, and we would start a group called Parti à la Maison. Parti à la Maison was signed by Go for the Juggler Records by Sonia Polton. I'm going to put you on to Sonia. You will love her. She's on social media, and that would be the beginning of my music career.
When did the name Reggie Rockstone get?
Reggie Rockstone is an offshoot of my friend's name, Freddie Funkstone. He got his name off the Flintstones cartoon.
Yes, the cartoon.
And then I always thought it was really fly, so I took Reggie Rockstone. My name sounds like a porn star. Yeah.
And so, can you remember your first gig together?
With
Commercial.
Tatiana
With Piazza,
Maison?
yes, yes.
That's a good one. Our first gig. That's a good question. I never really. I think we might have opened for. Oh snap! We opened for Pete Rock and CL Smooth, and then I think we was on the bill for Laws of the Underground.
Mm-hmm.
These are prolific hip hop groups. If you know your hip hop, you can look them up.
Mm-hmm.
I think we also opened for Greg Ormsby. I'm not sure. We also opened for Ultra Magnetic MCs. Boy, I'm old school. If you know hip hop, you should know this. But yeah, that was we put in some work.
What does hip hop mean to you?
Hip hop is a part of my life. It's like how somebody would be Christian.
Mm-hmm.
I live hip hop. My ideologies are hip hop inclined. I dress hip hop. See me, I got the Kango right now. You know.
Describe hip hop to somebody who came from my village in Achito, has never heard of hip hop before. And he says, Grandpapa, what is hip hop?
African music. That's it.
Finish.
Music inspired by Africa. Mm-hmm. Yep. But of course, by the African Americans.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Did you tour a lot?
Yes, we went around.
Where did you go?
We enter,
mm-hmm.
but as Reggie Rockstone, Hiplife, yes, we went all over Paris. Mm-hmm. You know, we went all Germany, all over the world. But as Parti à la Maison, we pretty much did the UK
mm-hmm.
circuit.
Are those guys still alive?
Yeah, I speak to Freddie all the time.
Okay.
DJ Pogo, he just finished his gig, moved to Brazil. He moved back and forth. We all in contact. I'm trying to bring him out here. Yeah.
I'd love to come. They should come and sample some of your watching.
Oh yeah, I mean they're kinfolk. These are their family.
Indeed. So you said your father named the genre.
Yeah, he's the one that said, you know, don't call it hip hop.
Okay.
We sat on that veranda on that day, and he said, "Yo, he asked me to own it.
Mm-hmm.
He said, what you're doing is going to become really big." And so we took the hip from hip hop
mm-hmm.
and the life from high life, hip life.
That's it.
In terms of branding, it was beautiful.
Can you remember? So this is like you rapping Budding Tree, mm-hmm. correct? Can you remember your first song that you composed in Tree?
Yeah. When you say so about it, one more sharp trim to do when some when you adjust cement me can yako sakuse. As a mama person can say when you me fake can titiante. You see can tina me no nanti e ko to brofo. Miss Meti Fanti from your Santi. Choco loco banco shake, cry your own cry. Which could also mean Ajay. Now bring it back. Hey, Biti Pame. Manu Kuni to paya master my yo. It's coming.
I love it. I love it. So let me draw a parallel. So the late great Joe Latte, the commentator,
yes,
said he commentated a game in Zaire back in the early 70s between Kotoko and another team.
Yeah, he sounded like he was rapping.
Yes, and yeah, definitely. And he heard commentary in Lingala, mm-hmm. and he thought, you know what, let me bring this concept back to Ghana. He comes back to Ghana. He says, let's do commentary in Chi, Ghana, ever. They said, what are you talking about? You can't do commentary. But he persisted to train people, and now we have local commentary.
I guess that's
Did you get that?
I guess that's the blueprint for Hiplife. That's a beautiful piece of information. I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
Most people would attribute the very concept of Hiplife to JW, Uncle JW Ambolley, mm-hmm. because he was rapping. As to whether he knew he was rapping is a whole nother story, because he also had a James Brown
mm-hmm.
vibration. Yeah, you know, but. This information here is a beautiful piece of history. I never knew this.
Yeah.
So at Yevu, I learn something new every day.
Indeed.
I'm keeping that one.
You got that kind of feedback when you started? They said it's not possible?
No.
They didn't.
The furthest they went to was Uncle JW Ambolley. Yeah. But rapping in my own language was nothing unique, because all over the world, people were rapping in their
In
own languages.
exactly.
Japan, China, everybody, French. You know, Mahoney P was rapping in Chi.
Yes.
You know, but for me, it was how tight I had it, and the movement. Shout out to DJ Rab. You know, people always forget that Hiplife was started with African American and the Ghanaian. May he rest in beautiful peace. Yes, and so.
What did it mean to you when he passed?
Oh man, I mean, we can never really get over that stuff. But I knew him and what he stood for. He would say, "You got to move on." Just like my father did. You know, he was very close to my dad too. You know, so yeah, I lost quite a few people in the short.
Two key people.
I lost Cynthia Kwaku. I lost DJ Rab. Lost my pops. Lost Alex Ofori. Lost Charles Boy. Lost Mayman. I lost a few good friends in a very short time.
Did you wonder why you're still here?
I don't ask. I am, and that's all that matters. I'm grateful. Yeah, but you know, even from growing up, my father was somewhat of a philosopher, and he always let us understand that life and death were parallel. You know, just as death is, so is birth. So when he died, we never had a funeral.
Never?
Nope, because he didn't like funerals, so we never had one.
Was he in Ashanti?
Ashes to ashes, dust to dust.
Was he in Ashanti?
No, not Kuyapem. Achim. So that's Akwetia.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
No funeral.
Bling bling, no funeral. Yeah.
What did people think?
They thought he was crazy, but I already knew because he had already told his son how he wanted to check out. So I had to honor him. So I did that.
So how did you celebrate him when he passed?
We had a big concert at the Kaneshi Sports Complex.
Really?
With Charter House. Shout out to Charter House. They came through for me.
Who was on the bill?
Everybody. Some of the members of CBSA, all of them came through. God bless them. Yep. And may they all rest too. Yeah.
What do you think about the CBSA?
Amazing. I grew up on their music too. My father lived with one of the members in the UK, yes.
Okay.
And he had stories about him and uncle, so they're closer to home than most people know.
Yeah, they were a great band.
Yeah.
I mean, if you grew up in the 60s and 70s, CBSA was a thing.
You know, as much as my father played Fela, James Brown, my brother Al Green and them.
Yes, all those guys.
Stevie,
James Brown, all those guys.
you know, very eclectic collage of music. But Osibisa was definitely in the household.
Did you ever listen to any Nyumkro, like traditional music?
I didn't. Even on my mother's side, that never came up.
Where's she from, your mom?
She's from Kumasi.
Okay.
Yeah, and that never came up. No, because they were all tuned into the Western.
Indeed.
You know, yeah. But Alaji came from Pong. I mean, she did have a healthy high life collection, Sweet Talks. You know, I knew all of these. But Alaji came from Pong.
Yes.
Played all the time in both parents. And so that would now become what I would use for Keep Your Eyes on the Road. Yep. I paid homage.
Yes, indeed.
And I got to meet the man before he passed away.
What was he like?
Amazing. He had tons of stories. I met him with my sister, Grace Ayensu. So just the two of us. And we talked for hours. Yeah. God bless his soul.
Amen.
And I carried his legacy on to the next.
Why did you come back home?
I didn't plan to come back home. I came back home via Panafest. I came home for Panafest.
They invited you or you wanted to? Yeah.
I was in the West. I overheard a rap group called the Jungle Brothers. They had talking about they coming to Ghana. I said, wait, that's where I'm from. I called my father. I said, you heard about Panafest? He said, yeah. He said, you want to come? Because I didn't know at that time my father had come into some good money. He said, you want to come? I'm like, yeah. So he copped the tickets. We were supposed to come, perform, get back on the plane, go back to what we was doing. And here I am sat today before you.
How long were you away in the West before you came back to Ghana? When you went back the second time?
I lost track, but very
A long time.
Okay.
So what was the reconnection back like? Was it easy?
It was amazing.
Fly back?
It was amazing. I'll never forget that day when the plane landed. Freddie looked at me. He said, you ain't coming back, right? He knew it. When I got off that plane and I smelt Ghana, that warm air, the big smiles, everything that I loved about my country, rushed right back to me. We were so excited, we stayed up till morning.
On the first day?
Yeah, because we landed and we stayed up till morning. And I remember hearing the cock crow. Crow, crow, crow. And just the sound of people sweeping their compounds. All the things that I missed.
Yeah, very different from
And
where
it
was.
just, my soul, I just knew I wasn't going back to the West. I just knew it. You know.
So you reconnected?
I
and-
reconnected in a huge way.
Okay.
Yeah. And, you know, Brother Rab was here too.
Mm-hmm.
So we all just, it was a great time in Ghana. And it wasn't just us. People were coming from the UK, from all over. Radio was just popping, you know, Vibe FM, this, that. You know, we all just came home at the right time.
And
Beautiful time.
What kind of music was coming out from that time? Give us some of the songs, the titles.
You had the, from in Ghana?
Yes, when you came back.
Oh,
No, your music.
Oh, my music?
Yes, your music.
My music, I would curate. I think the first demo was Chobwe.
Yes.
And Chobwe did his runs. Shout out to my man Mamelo, the Gap star, Gabi Ajeti.
Yes.
He had a big hand in breaking. My man Mamelo, the Virus, BB Menson.
BB.
He had a big hand in there. And so that was the first one that did the underground circuit. And then I would follow up with Ago,
Yeah.
Sweetie Sweetie. I mean, we just kept hitting them.
What's your creative process like? How does Rockstone pen a great hit like Ago or Chobwe?
I, excuse me, I reflect and I absorb everything around me. Example is, I was in a drinking spot in Kumasi when somebody screamed out, "Now wait to see a plan, man." You know,
nice.
I mirror everything. You know, different you, different me. Somebody said it. I didn't make that up.
Yeah.
You know, and from there, once I get the head start, boom, it just starts to fall in place. And of course, the music inspires me. So if you notice, a lot of samples that I use, you could trace back to the hip hop breakdance days.
Yes.
So everything that I knew from growing up is what I would utilize to tell my story.
Where did I like the Obo Lobo?
Because I do.
So that was inspiration.
Yeah. You know, I always thought the word Ubulu was funny.
Yeah.
But yes, I
Short
like
and
I like
staccato.
my women on the bigger side of
Yeah.
things.
Uh-huh.
And other people, my father loved really slim women, and I never took that.
Okay.
So I like the Obo Lobo. Short and
Staccato.
staccato. Somebody liked Tintin
Obo
Dogo.
Lobo.
You
I
know,
mean, these are
always laced with humor.
Definitely.
But things that they can identify with.
I was reading somewhere online after your MMA fight, and the constant feedback was, I love his humility, I love his humor.
Thank you. Thank you.
RRHH.
Yeah.
Reggie Rockstone.
Thank you. Humor.
Humble, humorous.
That's me all through. Without
Is
a
that daddy talking through you or mommy?
That's my father was very humorous. My father was extremely humble. All my parents extremely humble. That's how I was raised, yes. So, but yeah, humor plays a big part in my household. Yeah, Pastiriero. And of course, you got to remember, I do have English in me. And I still got the New York in me. And I still got the Ashanti bugger in me. So the combination of those, if it's not humorous, it will be fighting. Which I do too.
There's this collabo you worked on. It's the Stop AIDS Love Life song.
One of my favorites.
Tell me about that. I love that song so much.
Yeah, it was a beautiful time. Shout out to Black Coffee.
Who called you for that?
I can't remember. It might have been Black Coffee. I'm not sure, but you know, we were all together in on this one, and I think we recorded it in my studio.
You did?
Yes.
In Cantonments?
Cantonments,
Okay.
yes. I know I recorded my parts, and Michael Colehouse, everybody, you know, people chipped in. If I forget your name,
Shasha
pardon me.
Mali, all those guys.
Everybody, and my WW come to me. Yeah.
Something in Samandom.
WW come to me. You know, I remember that line very much.
So how did it work? Did they all come to the studio one day, or they just came in, did their line, and went?
I think it was a project, but they recorded everybody separate. And I think they used my studio. They might have used other studios, I'm not sure. But Black Coffee would probably be able to speak on that. But yeah, it was a great time. It was a great time.
Let me hit you with this one.
Yeah.
I've heard Hiplife is dead. Afrobeat killed it.
Nah.
What's your take on that?
I mean, as a figure of speech, it would sound viable via what's taking place right now, but it cannot be dead because these kids are still rapping. You know, so one of our biggest artists right now, from Black Sharif to
Yes.
Sarkodie, all of them still come from the hip life story. And you know, Sark is still rapping, and that comes from the hip life vein. And so, to say it's dead, no, because when they asked Blacko, how would you describe your music? He said it's high life and hip hop. Now,
Hip life.
what's that?
Shape like.
So it just needs to be reignited. And I'm waiting for one of these young brothers and sisters to pull that one through.
Yeah. So apart from Blacko, who else do you see, and Sark, who else you see flying the flag of hip life?
All of them. There are so many new cats. I just put out a new single with Brother Fournier, Kweku Afro. There are so many of them. You know, I go on social media and I hear various new styles. And, you know, I see one of my favorites, Pure Akan, Walasi. You know, Manifest is just killing it. Sark is, you know, he's always in there. Shatawale, Stoneboy, all of them are putting in that work. And I am very proud and very grateful to have stayed alive long enough to know all of them.
Indeed. Back in the day, who were the producers and where were the studios that were crafting this hip life sound?
Well,
that
we
you really want to
had
shout out
Combined House
Ah,
Harvest.
okay.
That was a big
CHM.
one. CHM was a big one. Of course, my man, my mellow Zap Mallet,
to? Yes.
a great hip life giant. Cole House, my man, my mellow, DJ Rab, of course, he was in house. But my unit was pretty tight. You know, we didn't go do too many producers. We kind of stayed in house. And so all the names that I mentioned are all friends. Yeah. Yeah.
Has your music made you good money?
Yes and no, but I am not very money inclined. But everything, it has had a domino effect, because if it wasn't because of my fame via the music, then how would I be able to open Rockstone's office or Grandpapa's or become a judge on X Factor or become a brand ambassador for Guinness or Glow? All of these are connected. It's via my celebrity, which is via the music. So yes, I have made a pretty penny. Of course, not like these young ones are making now, because we were the sacrificial lambs.
Indeed.
There wasn't no real money coming through. But I never came into music to make money. It was always via passion and something that I love to do. And that's why, you know, but I am blessed, health-wise, and I have a beautiful family, a gorgeous, a beautiful wife. And so my blessings have come in a different form. You know, and of course, being the Godfather, the accolade is very, very honorable.
Indeed.
Young people, you know, revere me.
Do they respect the craft?
Oh, without a doubt.
Good.
And even more so because I refuse to grow.
One time.
You know,
who wants to grow, man?
So since when they were young, I was hip, and I'm still hip.
One time.
You know,
That's it.
Yeah.
How do you keep fit?
I do.
How do you keep fit?
I'm a Bruce Lee student, so my press up game is mandatory.
How many can you do?
I could do. I'm heavy. You know, I go 100 and something. Before, when I was younger,
I was thinking of challenging you, but I think I'm changing my mind.
When I was younger, I could rock a lot more, but of course, I got older.
Yeah.
But yeah,
But 100 is pretty impressive.
Yeah, I mean, I never do less than 50. You know.
Every day.
Yes, every day I wake up. At some point in the day, I will get down and do. I do my cardio.
What's the cardio? What's your cardio like?
I just do 30 minutes.
Of what? Running?
Running, yes.
You run.
I can't run on the streets like folks, because people want to stop and conversate.
You can't even do exercise.
It's a treadmill in there, my downfall.
You do your 30 minutes.
Yes. I eat pretty well.
What will you not eat?
I'm almost borderline vegetarian.
Almost.
Yeah, because I eat a lot of green.
Okay.
And I do my fruits. Of course, my waakye I can't do without. But, you know, in
moderation.
Moderation.
Okay.
I don't eat red meat.
Okay.
Yeah.
For how long?
Oh, years. I mean, I cut that out.
Chicken, yes.
Chicken, when the Negro in me kick, you know it.
You
if
have
I
your
smell it, but lately, very seldom.
Okay.
My fish, sardines. You know, I'll
Yeah.
open a can of sardine.
Eat it up.
It's healthy.
Yes, it is.
And,
good fat.
Yes. But I stopped eating a lot of junk. I don't feed my body junk.
Charlie, when you stripped off at the MMA fight last week and people saw your abs, they said,
yeah,
what?
man, I'm in good shape.
Charlie?
I'm in good shape. You know, people calling me, damn, what's your exercise regime, brother?
We want to know, Charlie.
Yeah. Also, I do a lot of fasting.
Okay.
Yes.
Every week, every month? How do you do it?
I fast whenever I want to talk to Jah, to communicate. But I also fast with the Muslim brothers and sisters.
Yes.
I do Ramadans.
I did that with them.
Right.
Last
So,
year.
I've done a lot of Ramadans.
Okay.
So, yeah, I clean up the body. Yeah, I detox mind, body, and soul. Yeah.
So I like the routine.
Thank you.
Yes, I'm sure a lot of people will be following it.
Yeah, you should. This is fasting is divine. You know, you actually get a better connection when you fast, and you see fasting in almost every religion.
Yes.
Yeah. So
you hinted it, and I want to touch on it now because your celebrity led you to so many things.
Yes.
Which of the first ventures was it that your celebrity connected with?
Ventures would be
Office?
yes, Rockstone's office.
Describe Rockstone's office to somebody who just touched down into Ghana.
Rockstone's office was a hub. It was at some point almost a tourist attraction.
Yes.
Because once you got into the country, you wanted to know who, where. That was the spot. Also birthed a lot of people. You know, a lot of stars came through. At one point, everybody in Ghana, at some point, had to come through.
Why was it called the office?
Because when I inherited it from my good brother Abdul, it was already a place that I went to. And so he's a Sierra Leonean brother, and it was called the office. And if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
No.
So I just added my name to
Finish.
it.
Brand it,
Rockz
man.
Office.
That's it. That's it.
High life, hip life. You know, VIP, VVIP. You know,
Don't go too far.
Don't
go too far.
What
What kind of people pass through, man?
Everybody, till I mean, you name it, from Wyclef to Adrian Albert to
They all came through.
Beanie Man, Beanie wasn't here when I opened up.
Okay.
A lot of football fans, everybody, Shatta Wiley, everybody, Stoneboy, Gramps Morgan, everybody been through.
Is this still popping?
No, we left that.
Why?
We came to this, Rockz Waakye.
Did I watch it start from there?
Yes, it did.
Okay.
And when Corona hit, and people didn't want to be around people no more,
Exactly.
we decided to flip it, Rockz Waakye.
Okay.
And today we have this beautiful, formidable brand.
Of all the kinds of Ghanaian foods that we have, the tasty stuff that we put in our bellies, why watch it?
Because I like Waakye.
Super.
Yeah, that's one. I grew up on the food. And but of course, when we run the night spot, people used to eat it at night. And so, you know, it was the only Ghanaian dish on the menu.
Yes.
And they got really popular. You know, our signature pepper, which is the old school zongo.
One time.
With the coconut healthy oil. Everybody comes here, as you see around you, eating. Yeah.
I know right now this is your number one watch.
Yes.
But before Rockz Waakye, where were the places you were going for your watch, man?
Where everybody else went.
Antimony?
Antimony. I also did the Laboni Junction.
Okay.
Kataudieso. And of course, the legendary, Kataudieso, legendary. And then of course, the one of my favorites in Adabraka.
Okay.
Sisters.
Yes, I know Sisters.
Sisters actually inspired me.
In what way?
Yes. The taste. They had the original, authentic zongo. What am I saying? Yeah.
One of my friends says I should ask you, do you make the watch yourself?
No, I don't. I can only cut up the greens and make a salad. I can't cook for nothing. My wife got a hand in there, but yeah, we do have professionals. Yeah.
So Rockz Waakye has been running for a couple of years now.
Yeah, about over 15 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rock, a couple of years back,
Yes.
you had this innovation, Waakye in a jar.
Yes, Jawache.
And I just saw some crazy negative feedback. For me, it was negative, but how did you take it?
No, it actually, once again, when Ghanaians are not used to something new, they don't like nothing new. Same thing like Hiplife. When Hiplife began, they was like, it's bush. What's this? Vernacular.
Bush?
Yeah. A lot of the bougie kids didn't want no parts of it. Yeah.
They said that?
Yeah. You know, I can mention it, but it took a while for, you know, they wanted to do the Western rap. Yeah. Vernacular. You know.
Yeah, because all that stuff they did in school where you can't speak vernacular in class.
They all emulate in the West. But Jawache would now become the thing now. We have a branch, you know, it's actually based on using less plastic.
Exactly.
And
sustainable.
And you know, but you know what's really ironic? The same people who were in arms, they would go grab a can of corned beef. This is meat that's been left in a can and open it and eat it.
Yeah.
And there was nothing different except the packaging.
Yes.
It was the same content, but less plastic. So you can pour, it's covered with a leaf, you pour it into the leaf.
And then you eat.
And then, so after a while, but you see, it leaked out. And when it did, it gave us the attention we needed. That's how it blew up.
Yep.
And now everybody eats Jawache. All the corporate offices we supply.
Oh, so it's still.
Hell yeah.
Great.
Yeah, everything. We got Ja Checker, Ja Jollof, everything.
Ja at JAH.
Yeah. You know, they open it.
No. Enjoy it.
Just pick it up, go. Innovative. You know, but as for me, you know me. I never do the same thing that everybody do.
Yeah.
I had to move it up a notch.
Different level.
Yeah.
Rockz, condoms.
Yes, see, here we go again.
Tell me about that.
Rockdoms.
Rockdoms, man.
My name, they enter places.
Everywhere, man.
Well, that was another one, you know, because I owned a night spot and I knew young people came there. Yeah. I know young people having sex.
Definitely.
And when you mix alcohol and this, you got to have some responsibility. So somebody approached me and we partnered. And that we had Rockdoms. You know,
Got the socks.
Yeah, K-Socks.
That's it.
But the thing is, my partner passed away.
Oh, sorry.
And this is why it kind of paused. And so we are going to go back and revisit. But yeah, like I said, I'm a hustler. I'll use, you know, I'll put my name to stuff. You know, Rockz Waakye, Rockdoms, you know, Rockstone's office. You know, you name it.
There's a furniture guy in town that I heard about today. And they said, actually, he's Reggie into furniture too. Yeah. I should ask you
Rockz Furniture.
What's the story behind that one?
That's my brother Alasan.
Okay.
Alasan from day one, of course, Alasan from day one, he was the one that, you know, he did all the furniture that you...
What I'm sitting on now, this is Alasan.
Even Rockstone's office.
Okay.
He did all of the above, you know. And so... he would name his furniture shop after me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice tribute.
He's we're partners in our own way.
So I should tell my friends that you don't have a furniture shop. Somebody named it after you.
Well, I actually do.
Okay, you do then. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Nice one. And then you lent your celebrity to this mixed martial arts fight that took place a week ago.
Yes.
What's the backstory behind that?
It was a beautiful one, and as we speak, I'm still trending worldwide. Yeah, like you said, you know, my martial art history, they approached me just to post on their page.
Just to post?
Yeah. Said, can you post this on the page? And I'm like, well, I do martial arts, so put me in the ring.
Finish.
That done. And that was the end of that.
Did you start training?
Yes, I did. Okay. I had to. And it really inspired me to, you know, get stronger and get more flexible. And so...
What did your wife and your children think about this?
They were fine till my wife went and sat there on the day and saw the first fighters. And she started hitting me up like, I don't know. I don't think you should. You know.
I saw the first fighters too. And I was thinking the same thing for you,
They
Charlie.
went crazy.
Yeah.
But, you know, mine wasn't an exhibition fight, so I was in a safer place.
Okay.
I needed to, you know, lend my celebrity, as I said, to promote mixed martial arts. And it went viral.
Yeah.
And the Red Tiger, as you see, I'm still in my red.
That's the hashtag.
That's my name, my fighting name. Yeah, but yes, I do have a martial art history. Just so many different things about me that people didn't know.
Yeah.
And it just, you know, I find a new way to reinvent myself.
Exactly.
All the time.
You're like this
Just refresh.
caterpillar which keeps changing into different kinds of butterflies.
I don't stay in one spot, you know.
What's the most surprising feedback you've had after this MMA exhibition fight?
It's the amount of martial artists in Ghana.
There are plenty, eh?
Plenty. My DM, just everybody like, yo, thank you, man. We going back in the dojo. We do people are inspiring people to be fit.
Yes.
A lot of people hitting the gym now.
I was inspired. Man.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm skipping
you
left,
know,
right, and
everybody's
center,
moving.
When I add press ups to
health,
my
health
routine.
is your wealth. You know, you really gotta stay alive, and health, staying healthy via exercise will keep you, mind, body, and soul.
What did the global warrior champions think about? I mean, after the fight, what's
I
their
think
reaction?
it blew them away. They expected it, but not as big as it got. And you know, brother Jeff, he always thanks me. He says, "Brother, I really appreciate you. You know, because he's African American, come home, and he's trying to implement this new vibration. And I'm glad that we met. And so they're on to something really big. There's a next one coming up.
Yes. On Nkrumah's birthday.
Hopefully, Nkrumah's birthday. Stay tuned.
It's gonna happen.
It's gonna get bigger and bigger.
What does Kwame Nkrumah mean to you?
Everything. Kwame Nkrumah means Africa, liberation, and everything else that comes with it. Shout out to Traore. In my lifetime, I have lived long enough to see somebody like Ibrahim Traore. But in Nkrumah, I only heard about. I only heard about Burkina Faso. I mean Nkrumah. But my father was such a strong Nkrumahist. When I came home, my Kwame Nkrumah's son lived with us. So Sekou Nkrumah's room was like next door to my room.
Oh, nice.
So we lived in the same house for years. We are that close.
What was he like?
Nkrumah, Sekou is like one of the best. His humor is out there. We play chess, have great conversations. But that's how close we are to the Nkrumahism vibe. My father, you can't say nothing wrong.
No way.
About Kwame Nkrumah, no. And we live right next door. We shared a wall with the house that Fatia lived in. So that's how close we were.
And now Traore, I hear people say Traore is like a reincarnation of Sankara. You think so too?
Yes, somewhat. I mean, because they both got military backdrops, and they got the ideologies are pretty, but
development oriented.
Yeah.
You fear for him?
Yes, I do. We're praying for him. I actually do pray for the man, and I think everybody else should. Don't let them take that man out. If they do, we're in trouble.
You seriously think that?
I know so. And because it comes in two ways. If they take him out, then the question is to Africa, what you gonna do? We took him out. That's not a good question.
No.
Because then we gotta answer that question. So they testing you to see how far they could push you. Oh, you running your mouth. Okay, boom, we take him out. Now what you gonna do? So they should never be allowed to. Because when that question comes up, it will be the deadliest question ever posed to Africa in our lifetime. And before they did it on a sneak, but now they barefaced telling you they making moves to the man. Not a good look.
Let's come down from Burkina to Ghana.
Yes.
When you look at Ghana today, live music, what do you see? What makes you excited about Ghana?
Well, I because I am a part of the story, and like I always say, I have lived long enough to see Shatta Wale make music with Beyonce. It's things that you would have never dreamt has come real. I'm watching all of these young brothers and sisters and the way they're moving. I'm loving the way that they're creating jobs. They're feeding their families. They're traveling worldwide. Black Hole, this one, Kelvin Boy. This is such a beautiful collage. And also the fact that young people have a voice. Hiplife did that. And so I am very honored to be a part of that story. So yes, I support everything the young people do. And Ghana's a young country, relatively. So
60 something.
yeah. And so, and we are very immersed into this whole thing because come elections, music is everywhere. And it's more, we're more intertwined with the music scene than we know. So yes, the arts we need to take very, very seriously. It could bring a lot of revenue. You see what Afrobeat doing, and we are right there with them, our brothers from Nigeria, and we are part of that story. So it shows you that show business, there's no business like show business.
You just mentioned Nigeria. I must ask you about Fela.
Yes.
Kuti. What does Fela Kuti mean to you?
Oh, he is, in fact, he had a big hand in Hiplife.
Really?
Yes, one of my most prolific hits ever was an interpolation, a rendition of his song, Shakara. That's a Yamada.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
okay.
From the very inception of Hiplife, Afrobeat was already in the cut with us. Yeah. And a revolutionary. It's one thing being a great musician, another thing being a revolutionary. You know, he was definitely no armchair revolutionary. And you see the political angles in my music all the time. You know, when I say Jesus Christ was a beginning what I believe in, when I say about Visa Neya, you know, I placed it. And I come from that school. Yeah.
You've told me about what excites you about Ghana. What annoys you?
What annoys me about Ghana is our pettiness. Yeah, we have become a real petty country, and our affiliation via social media has increased and made it louder. You know, and the G hate. You know, they say GH, I call it G hate. We seem to bitch about everything. We're not too positive about all that we need to be positive about. And so when you go on social media, anything of any significance that you do, they seem to, want to nip it. It's become cultural. It's not a good look. A lot of in-squabbling. It's not a good look. We hate on each other a lot, more than we know. And not just in the music field, in everything that we do. And it seems to pull us back.
Too much hate.
Our cousins, Nigeria, the level of patriotism is unrivaled. You know the slogan, right? Naija no dey carry last.
No, they carry last.
There you go.
Always on top.
There you go. So, yeah, that annoys me. They need to raise the bar of patriotism.
What would you say to a young Ghanaian who is chasing a dream, not just a music dream, but any dream? What would you say for them?
No, not to a young Ghanaian. I say to young people,
around the
period, and around the world, mostly Africa. Go for yours. We have been bamboozled a lot by these old politicians. A lot of the old heads who ruled us did not do really good by us, you know, with the exception of a few that we can mention. And so I really encourage young Africans to really be more vocal and get their politics more up front. You know, I always say the African is not as politically inclined as the African American. Yes, because they've lived with the man. They know the ways of the man. But
it wasn't like that because Nkrumah was very political. I mean, that generation.
Yeah, they instilled
40, 50, 60s.
Yes, we kind of dropped the soap somewhere and lost that patriotic vibration. We need to raise that. You know, we got to be more nationalistic and be up about us. You know, I'm selling on African dish. Waakye, I want Waakye to become worldwide.
One time.
Yeah, that's what I do. Yeah.
Before we go, let's talk a little bit about family. So, sure. I'm just curious, if I were a fly on the wall in the Rockstone house, what would I see?
You would see a lot of laughter, a lot of happy children, a lot of sternness from my wife as far as towards the kids and education, because she's a lead man. So it's a divided household, but a nice balance. I'm the artistic fly daddy, easy to go. She's strict, but still funky, and it's balanced. My children, they fly, but they are very well brought up.
Are you subconsciously creating the kind of environment you flourish in when you're growing up?
No, I had way much more freedom than they got.
All right.
Yeah, they you know, I ran free.
Is it like different? Is it the sign of the times, different times that we're in now?
It might be. It might be. Yeah. Zelaya of discipline. You know, she comes from her father's.
Yeah. The father was former president of Ghana.
Yes.
Yes, in the Second Republic.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
She comes from. Yeah.
Mhm.
That you gotta study.
Yep.
I mean, the man taught himself French. Come on. Can't beat
Nothing
that.
harder than that.
Yeah.
Do your kids tell you what they want to do in the future?
My son is an avid footballer, but of course his mama gonna make him
Do the books.
The books. My daughters are both very artistically inclined. One of them can actually sing and rap when she wants to.
All right.
They can all dance. They all very artistically inclined. So I don't know where it's gonna go.
You don't mind?
Yeah, I don't know where it's gonna go, but they always have the artistic vibration in them.
What's one thing you want your children to always remember from you?
My humility. I teach that. I pass that on to my children all the time. My children are very respectful. When we moved into our neighborhood, my children bonded with all the kids in the hood, you know, and they're very, very loving. My children are very loving. You know, kids from the hood come to the gate. You know, they go in and share their sweets with them. They come play in my house. If you watch my page, you'll see my house is like a little garden of, you know, all the neighborhood
Happy
kids
children.
they come into my house. Yes, it's a happy home. Yeah.
I've enjoyed the chat, man.
Thank you, and it's in depth. Yeah.
If this were your last interview, what would you want people to remember?
Well, since it ain't, I won't. I'm gonna keep going. Yeah.
Keep going.
Yeah. Well, like I said, in these times, anytime that I have a platform where a lot of people are tuned in, I will bring the topic of Africa.
Okay.
We are in really trying times right now, and Brother Traore is top on my agenda of how to make sure that we keep this man safe, and to make sure that even if they took him out, his ideologies still move. We got to be more nationalistic, more Pan-African at this point. And Africans really need to know that we are being targeted. We have always been, but more so now. Now that we're trying to separate ourselves from the masters or the colonizers, they're gonna attack us. And we gotta be ready. You know, I know some of you love these white folks, but not all these white folks is good folks. And not all skin folks is kin folks. So be on the lookout for the coon sellouts, those who will tell you otherwise. Africa really needs to stick together right now. In my lifetime, and I lived more years than I got ahead of me. So I can only say this. Your children's children. Yep.
Peace.
Yep.
He made the moves. He made the music. He did his martial arts. He's making meals for us. All the M's.
The ends well.
Reggie Rockstone, thank you so much.
Thank you, brother.
Blessings.
Peace out.
Can I do a challenge with you?
Yeah, go ahead.
Let's do some press-ups.
I would have, but I have a really nasty bump
what happened? Oh, from the fight.
from the fight. Well,
Whoa.
from training. Can you see it right
I can
there?
see. I can see.
Yeah, so I'm on low key right
When you
now.
are ready, I'll come.
Yeah,
I will
without
do
a
it.
doubt.
Yes.
We would definitely get down.
Thank you.
Boy, I got away with that one. Thank you.
Thank you. God bless.
All right.